Hello, hi everybody. Happy Christmas Eve. Apparently some people celebrate Christmas Eve, so happy Christmas Eve day. The people I work with were showing me something called a Christmas Eve box that they made for their kids. I'm like, what is that? Anyway, I'm back now in the United States of MK, and me being away. Sorry, I just saw what looks like a 12-year-old driving. Anyway, I need to stop being distracted. Me being away felt like I was away for a week, even though it was just for a night. And a lot has happened in my brain, in my mind, in my heart, in my body, which is great. And there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about today very quickly. First of all, we need to be better at actively resting. I've been listening to people in real life and also podcasts and other things where people are basically burning out before they realize they need to take a break and do a check-in and whatever. So for all of you making plans for next year, build in check-ins, build in rest days. Oh yeah, I got my hair done. So this hair, right? I did my hair Monday night. It's braids that you have to, I wanted them curly. So when you use expressions, I think it's called, is it expressions or expression? I don't know. The braid hair, when you braid it like this, so it's all single plaits, but then you braid it and then you shove it into really boiling hot water, and then you're supposed to unravel it and it's all curly. But I just liked how it looked like this, so I haven't unraveled it yet. So I've been walking around like this. My husband called me the brat, which is, I think it was a compliment, but you know, I'll take it. Anyway, so active resting. We need to build active resting into whatever we're doing going forward. We have to, especially women. And for me, that's normally every 3 months, I think I build it in, because when I don't, I start getting very antsy. I think that's the word. I was reading something that said there's a phrase when moms get, especially moms with young children that just want to always be on top of you, which are the ones I have, which I love. There was a point last week when my daughter was on me, my son was on me. I was a bit hot. I was trying to sort her hair out, and I was just, and then I think the heating was on. Maybe I was having a hot flash because, you know, perimenopause. And I was just like, can everyone just get off me? Like, just get off me. Like, off now. And I had to like place them away from me and then leave the room. And then I had to just open a window and get some fresh air, and I just didn't want to be touched. So apparently there's something called moms feeling touched out. I'm sure that's what I read. I read it in a magazine, and I was like, oh God, I know what that feeling is. And then following that, I saw like a reel on, I think, I don't know if it's a reel or whatever, one of them shorts thing on Instagram, and it's a mummy turtle in a tank, and it says when mum needs to take a minute, and then the baby turtle just comes in front of her, and then the little hands is just doing this to the mum's face, and the mum's just there, and the baby is just doing and I'm like, oh my God, I feel so seen, because the number of times I'll say to my son, okay, I need 5 minutes, mommy just needs 5 minutes, and I don't want any talking for 5 minutes. We're just gonna sit here in silence. And before he could read the time properly, after like 30 seconds, like, mommy, it's 5 minutes over. I'm like, no. But it's just, yeah. So that overwhelm, that being touched out, oof. So please build active rest. That's the first thing I want to talk about. The second thing I want to talk about was to do with working. Like, in terms of, I was listening to a podcast, I was listening to the Receipts podcast. It's an old episode, I think it's from like early October or something. And they were talking about how, I think Tolly has just come back from, well, she didn't just come back. She had a break from the podcast for a while because she needed a break for her mental health. And she was saying how that was the first time she took a break from working since she was 14. And I believe Tolly's now 35 or something. And again, I was just smiling because I'm like, I know what that feels like, because again, this is what we need to build in active rest, because you just work. And then she mentioned about the discussion, Audrey, they discussed how even 65-year-olds are not really retiring now because you have to keep working, you have to pay for this, you have to pay for the, like, what even is the point? And there was a song she referenced which I still till today don't know who sang it, but I've kept those words in my mind for the longest time. It's I'm wearing a weighted vest, so it's just, I have to keep sitting upright so I don't slouch. There's got to be more to life. There has to be more to life. And I think the way I normally say it is like, what even is the point? Like, what even is the point? But anyway, I got a lot of that from my weekend, my time at the retreat with my therapist. And I am still processing a lot. And I think this trip was different because I wasn't staying there. I was staying in a hotel. So I had to see the therapist, talk deep stuff, and then go out into the world. You know, where normally I'd go into my sanctuary of a room with no reception, no TV, no distractions, and I just sit there and just, you know, ruminate or whatever, or sleep, which is normally what I do. So to be forced to actually process with normal life going on was different. Maybe that's why it feels like really like I was there for longer. But anyway, and then yeah, so there has to be more to life. What even is the point? So we just need to get better at, there's a man wearing trainers, right? But I know I'm distracted again. They're black trainers. I don't know what color one of the laces is, but the other lace is bright orange. Like, I don't have anything orange here, but it's like bright orange. So I'm like, what's going on there? Anyway, maybe it's a trend. You know me, I don't follow trends. So yeah, we need to really consider what we are working on. For those of us looking for work, and this applies to me as well, I'm like, I'm very, very picky now about what I am looking for work-wise, or what I want to do with the rest of my life. But also, yes, you have to pay bills, yes, you have to, but you still have to live. You have to live. So for those of you looking for new jobs or whatever in the new year, just start really thinking like, or you're in a job that is not really fulfilling you or whatever, and you're like, okay, what do I want to do or whatever. Really think about it, because life is so short. It is so short, and before you know it, you'll be moving towards regretting maybe decisions you've made or whatever. Anyway, the third thing I wanted to talk about was based off of me listening to Ray, the singer, her song "Where's My Husband." So it was one of the last songs I heard before I got to the office this morning, and it made me laugh because I was thinking, I was asking myself, like, having been married for as long as I've been married, and been in a relationship with my husband for as long as I have been, you're on the other side of marriage, yeah? And there's still this big societal thing of women want to get married, and which is fine. I was never one of those women that my dream was to get married. It really wasn't. My dream was to stay alive and survive. So it just made me think, like, why is it that we still live in a society where no matter what you've achieved as a woman, it's almost like if you're not married or have kids and or both, you haven't achieved something, you haven't fulfilled something. And men don't usually get the same thing, like the same, is it pressure? I don't know. But there was a situation apparently where, again, this is from the Receipts podcast, where I don't know what show it was, but there was a guy, I think he was in his mid-30s or something, and he said he didn't want to have kids. And I think they were talking about legacy or something, and everybody, most of the men there, attribute legacy to them having kids, them leaving their seed, as they say. And it was very much like, but legacy should be, oh, the sun's coming out. Legacy should be more than that. It should be what you've done, what you put into the world, what you contributed to, not just what businesses you built or what I don't know if I can change the angle of this thing, what businesses you've built, or what how many kids you have, or because what if your kids are then useless and do nonsense and are actually a detriment to the rest of the universe and the world? What then? That's not a legacy. That's not a legacy you'd want to have. So it made me think of like authors or musicians, and I think they use the example of Whitney Houston, because Whitney Houston, R.I.P., she's not with us anymore, but there we go. But she also doesn't have kids, because obviously, as we know, her daughter, Bobby Christina, is no longer with us. So what's her legacy? Her legacy is her music, you know? You'd hear her music and you'd be like, okay, yeah, that's unmistakably Whitney. And it would move you and you would feel it and you would learn something new from it. For me anyway, with music being a way to emotionally regulate, I can hear the same song and hear different things. I remember on Monday, before I left the Cotswolds where I was, the only song I had in my mind to listen to was Alessia Cara's Scars to You're Beautiful. And one of my mentors, Unicorn number 2, sent me that song in the summer, or I don't know, was it summer? I don't know, August, September, whenever it was. And he said it reminded him of me. And when I listened to that song, that's one of my favorite songs ever, but I had not heard in a long time. So when I listened to it, I got something from it at the time. Like a different message was what resonated with me. But when I then listened to it on Monday, I got a completely different lyric that resonated with me, that I wrote down and whatever. And Whitney's songs are the same. So for example, Alessia Cara, I don't know if she's married, I don't know if she's got kids. That song is one of her legacies, the things that she's left. So I guess my point is, like, as women, we need to, not just women, but mostly for women, we need to find something, or we need to kind of find the reason why we're here, if that makes sense. Like, yes, we have the ability and the option to have kids. Yes, we can. I mean, as women, what else are expected to do? Be a wife. But what do you actually want to do? And that's a question, the place I'm temping at, that I've asked. Like, I asked one of the new ladies, well, she's one of the new managers. It was just us in the office. And then I said to her, what do you want to be? Not what, like, why did you pick finance? Is that what you want? No, she wanted to be a lawyer, but she couldn't get the A levels she needed to do, you know, law. And then, but she really enjoys being an accountant, which is great. I'm happy for her. Some of us were pushed into it. So she's like, oh, I fell into it and I love it. I said, well, I was pushed and I'm still here. And then another lady I was spoken to during the week, she wanted to be an electrical engineer. And I'm like, so what the hell are you doing here? And then I was hearing another story about some lady that she's now a model, but for I don't know how many years, she's an older lady, beautiful, stunning, but for many years she was a software engineer. And it's like, why? Like, and then she's jacked that in to do modeling. And I'm just like, and she's apparently her whole hair is all grey naturally and long. I think she's Pakistani or something. And she's helping other women to see, okay, I can do other things. Like, just find your why. Find your why. There's nothing to do with having children. And as a society, we tend to judge a lot of older women that don't have kids, especially those in the public eye. And the first one that comes to mind is Tracy Ellis Ross. And I think there's an interview where she's talking to, is it Michelle Obama, where she's talking about all this stuff, like not being married and, anyway. As usual, I'm rambling. But my main thing is building active rest. Has the sun gone yet? I want to put this down. I'm going to put this back. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, building active rest for next year, where you'd something to look forward to. You're going to take a week off and just go and just be. Not to be on your phone and do Instagram posts. Is that what they're called? And stories and things. Just be. As a human being, just be. And, figure out what you're doing. There are people that are genuinely happy to just do the same job, go in and then, go to the pub afterwards, or just go home and look at their phone and watch Nollywood or whatever. That's also fine. But I do have a strong belief that everyone is put here to do something. So you just need to find it. And your why doesn't have to be one thing. It could be many things. So just have a think. And as a woman, as any woman or girl watching this, your main purpose is not to be an incubator for children. I wanted children more than I wanted to be married. And that's just the truth. I wanted children more than I wanted to be married. And marriage is not easy. So Ray saying, where's my husband? As her grandma said, your husband is coming. Yes, he is. But pray that he is fully equipped for the job at hand. Because being a husband is not easy. Being a wife is not easy. And you both have to really, 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 really want it. And I think we do now live in a society where men are realizing they're not the prize, but a lot of women are still living with that notion, and so it clouds their perception of all that they've achieved on their own. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this. I try not to talk about any social constructs going on, but that song, just listening to it, I was just like, because I love the song, I love the production, the music, the words not so much, but yeah. So when you're making your prayers about your husband and your other half or whatever that you want, be specific. I was saying it to Unicorn number 1 last week when I saw her, and you have to be specific about what you want, what you don't want. Not just, I want him to be 6'4", dark and handsome, have a job, blah, blah, blah. Does he know God? Will he treat you like the flower that you are, the orchid, like forever when you're fat and whatever? Anyway. Marriage is not the end all, be all, whatever, and if you want it, that's fine. If you don't want it, that's also fine. That's what I'm trying to say. Just fix you first, the within, and then the without will sort itself out. On that note, I need to go struggle with all the other people in the supermarket to buy last minute stuff. And I will see you guys on the other side of Christmas. So have a wonderful Christmas and all the best, and I wish you peace, love, your heart's desires, and may the highest good always prevail. Okay? Bye.